Hello, everyone. We're just going to give it another 30 seconds or so. I see some people are still trickling in, and then we'll get started. Yeah. Hello, everyone. Good morning, afternoon, evening to some, wherever you may be in the world. Welcome to Identiv and Energis's webinar on transforming business operations with ID pixel tags. Today's presenters are Klaus Seemann-Meyer, Identiv's VP of Strategic Accounts in EMEA, and Stefan Bertmann, Energis's Business Development Manager focusing on wireless power transfer. Today, they will introduce you to Energis and Identiv and how ID Pixels tags are redefining the way businesses manage their operations by transitioning you from traditional supply chains to intelligent demand-driven models. They'll walk you through a couple use case examples and then summarize the benefits of ID Pixels tags ecosystem and cutting-edge technology. We will then finish up with some next steps in a Q&A session. And in preparation for the Q&A session, I would like to invite you to please feel free to ask questions as they arise throughout the presentation by simply typing your question into the Q&A panel, and we will address each question at the end. And with that, Klaus, I will hand it over to you.
Yeah, thank you, Ryan. So then let's simply start right away with this introduction slide to Identiv. The headline is, we put the IoT in motion, and this is actually exactly what we do. We're providing the technology that is provided to connect physical everyday items to the most important part of our everyday life, the most important digital part, which is, of course, the internet. And we're acting as a full solution provider, which means that we provide both the digital tags that make items part of the IoT, as well as our cloud platform to manage and keep track of all those tags that are floating around in the field. And when it comes to the tags, we can look back at almost 20 years of experience. We have manufactured billions of units of both standard tags for mass applications as well as customized tags with tailored form factors. When it comes to those tailored designs, we are certainly one of the industry leaders. Countless are the designs that we've been coming up with throughout all those years, and we have done it so often that it has become almost a routine process, which you can tell by the fact that it takes us typically only 6 weeks to design a customized tag and to provide our customers with first working prototypes. There's a whole variety of technologies that can be used for those IoT applications, and we are providing them all. We have active and passive tags, which means tags that are sourcing the energy from printed batteries, or battery-less tags that just use the surrounding electromagnetic fields as an energy source. We have tags for all frequency bands, high frequency, UHF, BLE, and even dual frequency tags. We have the whole bandwidth of materials that a tag can be made of: copper and aluminum antennas, PET substrate, temperature-resistant substrates, and also eco-friendly substrates. We are chip agnostic, which means that we source our chips from all RFID chip vendors, and we also design our antennas accordingly, which means that they can simply work with chips from any manufacturer. We're providing products for standard applications as well as for high-end solutions, and for the latter, we use high security chips with security features like encryption, digital and mechanical tamper-proof options, and many more. Today, we'll be focusing on one of our newest technology, which are the Bluetooth Low Energy tags. They come as self-adhesive labels, just like our RFID tags, but they are offering features which make them perfect for certain applications where conventional RFID technology simply can't meet all the requirements. And this is what we'll be showing you here today. By the way, the technical counterpart of a BLE tech are the so-called BLE transmitters or bridges. And this brings me right to my human counterpart in this webinar here, to Stefan from Energous, who will now be talking about Energous and their transmitters. Stefan, over to you.
Thank you very much, Klaus, for the handover. So let me introduce a little bit Energous. As you see on this this pictures, we have mostly three pillars where we are focusing, and our focus is really wireless power transfer. And on the left side, we are going more in detail in our presentation to see the Wiliot solution, as Klaus already mentioned. And we have also two other pillars. It's one of the development in electronic shelf labels. It comes more and more valuable because of a lot of changes in the pricing and everything. And mostly of these electronic shelf labels are really using battery. And similar as Identiv, we want to have a sustainability, and we want to get rid of these batteries that will be every year changed, or every 3 months or 6 months, depending on the power consumptions. And we designed also for that specific generations. And last but not least, the IoT sensors. And this coming more and more valuable, because just to have a sensor needs also battery power, and then we are again on this disposable batteries, and we would like to have a clear nature and future. We would like to get rid of that, and that's why Energous is focusing on the transmitting power. Next slide, please. So Klaus, or Identiv and Energous, we are working very close together, and we are facing a lot of challenges in asset tracking. So as Klaus mentioned, they offer also RFID tags, BLE tags, where we're talking today about. But mostly, if we're talking to customers, to clients, the first question will be the total cost of ownership. And as you mentioned, Klaus, this is really a tough one, because on one hand, you want to digitalize your assets on a cheap way, but mostly of these could be challenging, because if you look on the tag readability, we have to be smart, and also to see how we can adding the tags and reading. Mostly companies are still using QR code or barcode, and there's frequently a human error, because the goods are not tracked or wrong tracked, and then all this hassle starts. So with the asset tracking and digitalize it, that's a really good one, that you can do this automatically. On the other hand, we found out that a lot of sensing capabilities coming up in the market, for example, fruit delivery or cooling goods or vaccines be transported. All these sensors are nowadays running with disposable batteries, and we want really to get rid of them. And therefore, we have a technology together with Identiv and Wiliot to have this nearly done. So I think I will hand it over to the technology a little bit. I give you just a briefly overview how the technology is working. On the left-hand side, you see how Identiv manufactured a label tag. And as you see, the brown parts are dedicated designed antennas. And we have 3 of them sticked on the, or implemented on the pixel tag. And this allows you to activating this chip inside the BLE chip by energy which is transported wireless. And therefore, we have our transmitter, and that's a product that comes from us, allows to send over radio frequencies, and the pixel tag is collecting that and activating the tags. You see also small antennas. You can run also energizing with Bluetooth only, but this is limited to a few meters. But if you go with the 900 megahertz frequency, you can easily go beyond 10 meters, 15, 20 meters as well. So the next slide will show you the complete solution. And this is how this all-over solution works. So you saw on the left side our Energous transmitter, and this Energous transmitter is also keeping the communication with the pixel tags. So there will be a Bluetooth handshake transparent, and the Energous transmitter is taking these informations and send it through an internet gateway. This internet gateway could be a normal networking interface, but could be also, we will talk about later in my slides about other solutions that can send out via LTE or 5G operations, that you have this information done. And then you have a connection to the Wiliot cloud services. And what's happened, all this data in this process are really decrypted, so nobody can read it. And if you are in the Wiliot cloud, they will provide for decryption and also for temperature values. And this will be shown in the Wiliot cloud services. And then you can easily develop your own applications. There are interfaces available, REST API or MQTT, that make it very simple to develop your own application or bring it to an ERP system. And this is the total solution all over. And Klaus, would you take over and go a little bit on the different models of the pixel tags and explain it?
Sure, Stefan, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's have a closer look at those pixel tags. I mean, to start with just some basics, Bluetooth Low Energy is a wireless RF technology which has been implemented a long time ago. It is part of every mobile phone, for instance, and this means that items that are equipped with a BLE tag can become part of the IoT right away once they are in the reading range of, for instance, a mobile phone or an Energous transmitter. Rather than traditional BLE beacons, which have been on the market since a long time and which consist of a housing with a PCB inside, these new tags come as self-adhesive labels, and they can easily be applied to a huge variety of objects, and you don't need any tools or screws or anything to apply them because they are just self-adhesive. They come with a small form factor. As you can see here, they fit almost everywhere, and the simple label structure allows them for roll-to-roll mass production with a very high throughput. And this also comes with a very low ASP of those tags, especially compared to the conventional BLE beacons. And this is, of course, super important when you need a high number of tags in order, for instance, if you want to track items on item level. We have basically two types of these tags: a passive one, which harvests its energy from the electromagnetic field and from other RF sources like e.g. Wi-Fi networks. This is why we call it the dual band pixel, just by the way. And its active counterpart comes with a printed battery inside the label. This one doesn't harvest energy from external sources, and it can provide a higher read range due to this internal power source. But nevertheless, and this is important, it still comes as a self-adhesive label, just like the passive one. The only difference is the slightly bigger format, and it has a few micrometers more in thickness, but nevertheless, it is still a simple self-adhesive sticker. And just by the way, the battery life of the printed battery is up to 3 years. Ryan, can we go to the next slide, please? Let's have a look at the features and benefits of those self-adhesive BLE tags. They transmit their data in an encrypted format, so the Bluetooth packets that are being transmitted are 100% safe, and they cannot be picked up with any devices which are not authorized in the Wiliot cloud. All you need to set up a working environment is one of those Energous Bluetooth transmitters and a gateway, and both are simple, low-cost devices. The data generated by the tags is a unique identifier. It can measure the ambient temperature. You can get information about the location, where the tag is, and further measurement values will be following soon. I'll be telling you about this a bit later. We have the battery-assisted pixels. I mentioned them already, with double read range, which can be useful in certain applications. And last but not least, very important, as mentioned, mobile phone can be used to pick up the data from the tags, provided that they're running the Wiliot app. And this means, of course, that beyond the industrial part of things like asset tracking or inventory management, this is also a way to communicate with the end user. Yeah, so this is an end user technology, like, for instance, NFC, which makes it very interesting also for marketing purposes. Next slide, please. Thank you. Let's have a look on the future of the pixels. We have a whole bunch of new features on our R&D roadmap, and all these features will be implemented in the course of next year. We will be adding additional physical dimensions that can be measured, like e.g. the humidity of the air. There will be a new chip generation, and this new chip generation will provide a couple of benefits. It will come with less power consumption, which gives us better performance in terms of read range and responsiveness. There will be a significant price drop of the tags, also opening up new applications. And last but not least, there will be more options when it comes to form factors. As a result of the lower power consumption, we have more flexibility regarding the antenna design. And this way, for instance, we could be coming up with smaller form factors. Another thing on our roadmap are the OPV pixels. This is a particularly interesting one. OPV stands for Organic Photovoltaic. And that means that these special pixels have a surface material that can harvest energy from ambient light. And first trials have been very promising. There's only really a small amount of light needed, even if it is already very dark for the human eye. This is still enough light to make the pixels working. There will be rugged designs, which means pixels with more sturdy surface materials, which make them withstand mechanical impacts, at least up to a certain degree. This is a request from various industries for asset tracking applications. For instance, where washing processes are involved, you simply need labels which are a bit more robust. The same applies for use cases where metallic surfaces are involved. We will be coming up with a version that can be applied onto metallic surfaces. And as always, last but not least, there will be customized form factors for the tags with customized printings and artworks. All right, so now that you know all about the pixel tags, let's have a look at a real use case example. And this will be brought to you by Stefan. Stefan, the stage is yours again.
Thank you, Klaus. Yeah, I will take it over. because unfortunately, it's not unfortunately, but it's our common project that we faced here in Germany, and we had already some good coverages with the warehouse and pallet tracking in trucks. And I would like to go with you to the next slide. And Identiv and Energos prepared this testing and everything, and it went very well. Let's start first of all what the requirements, and then we have again on my previous slides the challenging asset tracking stuff, and that's a customer was saying tracking assets at 250 square meters, and the minimum was really to cover 60 pallets should be tracked in this area. And of course, as you see in the background, the blue area, that's where the truck loading area is, and that should be also covered to see if the goods are going in and out of the warehouse. And in the next slide, please, I show you a schematic how this works. And what we did, we put our Energos transmitters in the warehouse on this area to cover the 250 square meters. And what's happened, we adding also one of our transmitter in the area of the dock door. And with that let's say with the 3 transmitters, we can really cover the entrance, the in and out. We can cover also the pallets and cartons nearby the entrance. And just with 3 transmitters, we can really cover this 250 square meters. The customer was really excited because we had nearly 100% readability of these tags. And the installation, we just need a USB-C connector for the power of this transmitter. That's all. No networking cable is used, no antennas. If you're thinking about the different technology, it's just these 3 transmitters. That's all. And all these informations were also available on mobile devices and tablets. Then after this good results, the customer came up and say, yeah, we have also an own truck fleet and we would like to have this also covered. And mostly there is a lot of errors coming up of the unloading the trailer or loading the trailer. So he asked us if we probably have a solution. And then, we took all of these transmitters and put it in the trailer. And what's happened, we can read as well these pallets in the trailer. And there's a lot of things that goods are unloaded, loaded. And the client's request was because this truck is just delivering 2 pallets and go to the next warehouse. And there's a lot of mishaps going on. The wrong pallets or the wrong carton is shipped to the wrong warehouse. And this took always a lot of time. So what we're adding is just a gateway solution. And this gateway is equipped with a LTE or 5G connection. And then we went easily to the internet, and we can decrypt the pixel tags, and the client has all these informations. That was really easy going for us. And being that said, on the next slide, we had a bigger challenge, and another client came up. He wants one hand to read in a cooling trailer all our pixel tags on one hand. On the other hand, he wants also to track and trace the temperature. So mostly food delivery companies are using a temperature logger, and that's an offline solution. That means inside of this cooling truck, there is a logger, and they have to remove it and put it on the PC and read all these data if the temperature is in the right area. And what we did was really to adding our transmitters in the cooling truck. And as you see, with different crates, different pallets, and then the client came up and saying, yeah, maybe we would like also to have a kind of location mode. That means, yeah, we want to see on which trailer, in which area of the trailer are the goods. And of course, a cooling trailer, if it's hot outside, they want to eliminate a lot of unloading and loading parts. And that's why the intelligence is starting at the logistic, that you probably can do this also. And our engineering team developed a location mode application, as you see here. And that was very easily. We put this cooling trailer in 3 zones. And as you see the temperature, you see the, for example, 10 objects. And also you will see if these goods are moving. You see it in the gray arrow, that we move this inside of the trailer, and to see that this location is now moving from zone 2 to zone 3. And yeah, the client were very happy, and yeah, it's going now to in production, but it takes a while because all these telemetric stuff from the truck, you know, it's also GPS and who is the driver and how far he has to go. All these informations has to be combined in the complete solution. But this is just an example how simply you can use BLE. If you think about other technology, I think it's more a hassle because you have a lot of reflections inside of the metal trailer because it's insulated and everything. And this is what's going on. So, Klaus, probably you can take over the next slides, going a little bit in details how this looks like. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you, Stefan. As already said by Stefan, we will now have a peek behind the scenes, how the setup has been made. It was really amazing to see how simple such a test environment can be set up. Yeah, you start with setting up the transmitters. As you can see, they are lightweight and small. They can be installed with standard equipment, even with self-adhesive stripes. And all you need to power them is a simple power bank that you use for charging your mobile devices. Yeah, so you don't even need power outlets or stuff. This comes in super handy when you're doing these kinds of trials. Yeah, you can tell by the photos in the middle of the slides. You need only one single gateway to cover an entire warehouse. And yeah, again, a test setup, be it in the truck or be it in the hall itself, can really be set up very, very simply. The next slide, please, Ryan. So the second component of the system are the pixels. Naturally, as already explained, they are self-adhesive and you can easily apply them to a variety of items. You can see a few example pictures here in the middle, different types of crates and plastic pallets. We even used it on a metal cage by applying it perpendicularly to the cage, and it worked, even though it wasn't specially designed for use on metal. But we will be coming up with a special version here, as already said, and you can even apply more than one pixel to an item in order to optimize its visibility. Yeah. The next slide, please, Ryan. Once you have set up your hardware, which are the bridges and the pixels, all you need to do is to register these hardware components in the Wiliot cloud. Ideally, you have done this before you start the test, because then once you have powered up your transmitters and once the pixels are in place, you're all set. Yeah. Once the bridges are powered, you can go to the Wiliot cloud and your items become a part of the IoT instantly. It's really amazing. You can monitor your assets right away. You can see them moving between different zones and locations. So it's so simple to keep track of the assets and to monitor your data. Next slide, please, Ryan. Okay, so let me just give you a summary of what Stefan and myself said. So by using this Willy technology, you can optimize your inventory management and keep track of any asset. And this data delivered lets you enhance your margin and save money. Keeping track of, for instance, returnable items is an important step towards more sustainability. Yeah, for instance, in the European Union, we have a couple of new laws in place which force companies to replace single-use packaging by multiple-use packaging. And this makes your packaging become a valuable asset of your company and not just a throwaway item. And you should be knowing where your assets are. The better digital visibility of these assets saves your staff work and lets them focus on more relevant tasks rather than time-wasting things like wondering where their items currently are. The visibility of the entire supply chain gives invaluable insights and lets you implement optimizations easily. For instance, shorter transportation routes or smarter inventory management, smarter shelf replenishment, and a whole variety of other benefits. And last but not least, even if the goods are in the hand of the end customer, they are still able to communicate and to be part of the IoT, because as already outlined in the beginning, every end user has a Bluetooth-enabled smartphone. So the technology can also be used, for instance, for marketing purposes, campaigns, games, and many other things. Yeah, I can only encourage you to put this technology to the test. There are test kits available which come for a couple of $100. Just put it to the test. You'll be amazed how easy things are. And yeah, that was it from my side. Ryan.
Yes, awesome. Okay, so a couple next steps. If you have any, we have some questions that I see that have come in, and we're going to answer those live with you. If any other questions come up, please don't hesitate to reach out to Klaus or Stefan. So it really just, starts with a reach out, a call, an email. We can discuss any project needs that you have, finding the right products for your projects, any customization that you might need, encoding support, system support, and also, getting connected with our network of partners within the industry as well. Okay, with that, we are going to move over to Q&A. Like I said, we've got quite a few questions in the queue here, so we're going to start it off. Okay, first one. Where do I have to position the pixel tag?
Klaus,
Stefan, do you want me to take it?
Yeah. Go ahead.
Well, the pixel tags should be placed, let's say, in the same plane as the bridge, depending on which type of bridge you're using. So if you place them perpendicularly to a bridge, it's the worst case scenario. If they face the bridge directly, then it's the perfect scenario. So this is a bit of a trial and error process, but by using more than one bridge or more than one pixel, you get 100% coverage, regardless of the orientation.
Awesome. Okay, next question. How can I test the system?
Yeah, I take it over, Klaus. So as Klaus already mentioned, we have a dedicated starter kit that includes pixel tags from Identiv, and we adding also a kind of our transmitter and a really good documentation how to set up all these parts from the technical side, from the Wildert Cloud side. So that's completely. And if you want to go for a POC, a proof of concept, then we have also an extended kit that allows you with 4 bridges and 250 pixel tags and a gateway already included in this testing kit.
Okay, great. Next question. Can I install this system in different countries?
Yeah. Klaus, I take it over because, if you're dealing with radio frequencies and radio waves, you have to be sure that in every country we've meet the requirements from the government. And this is very important because a lot of countries here in Europe, even here in Europe, have different frequencies. And all of our Energis bridges are certified for certain countries. And with a firmware update, you can change the region, you can change the frequencies very easily. So it is sure that this energy harvesting transmitter belongs to the regulations of the country.
Okay, great. Next question. Who can help us with supporting this technology, supporting us on this technology?
Klaus, would you take it over?
Sure, I can. Yes. For instance, Identiv can. Yeah. We are on the one hand a tech provider, as I outlined, but we will be also offering the full solution together with Energis. So Energis, Identiv, we can support you when there are technical questions or if support is needed.
Okay, great. Moving on. See, can you share any data on the cost of the tags in volume?
Yes, we can. So it depends on which version we're talking. As I outlined, the V3 version will be more cost effective than the V2 version. But in general, if we look at the V3 version, we are looking at less than $0.25, which means less than 25 or 20 cents, depending on the volume. So this is the price range.
Okay. What are the plans to increase range required to read and energize pixels beyond 10 meters?
Stefan, I take it?
Yeah. Or me, I'm fine.
Okay, let me talk about the pixels briefly, and then I'm assuming you have an answer which is related to the bridges.
Yeah.
The main step here from the pixel side point of view will be the V3 chip generation, as I outlined, less power consumptions. Less power consumptions adds flexibility, which means we can either make the labels smaller and have the same read range that we had before, or we can keep the size of the labels or make it even bigger, which then gives us automatically a bigger read range because the antennas can harvest more energy.
Right.
Yeah, Stefan.
Additional to Klaus, I would like to say you have also to look into the infrastructure environment. So if there are warehouses with a lot of metal racks and everything, you have to really to think about where to positioning the energizer or our bridge on one hand. On the other hand, we have a dual frequency tag that helps you also to harvest energy in some circumstances just from Bluetooth Low Energy. And with our UHF solution, you can go easily beyond 20 meters. And we did some tests already with a forklifter. We're putting on the forklifter one of our bridge, and it's also harvesting beyond 10 meters, 15 meters. So it's not that we cannot generally say how many transmitters you need. You have to go on site to see where to position and how the infrastructure looks like.
Okay, great. Next question. How big is the Energous transmitter and how much of energy consumption does it have?
Oh, I'd show you now live the transmitter. So if you see my picture, that's a transmitter. It's 15 centimeters diameter. Hopefully you see it. Here's my face. That's white, white and white. That's not good, but it's very small. It's 15 centimeters diameter, and it needs a few hundred milliamperes. It's a USB-C connector. So that's all of you. Maybe you see it here a little bit in the camera. So that's really small and not big. And we will have also beginning of next year, ruggedized housing for harsh environment, and then you are protected against water and everything. This will be coming up very soon as well.
Okay, next question. In your example in the truck, how do you handle boxes with pixels piling on top of each other?
Yeah, we have to be smart where to position the pixel tags, you know. Radio waves can go through plastic, through fruits and vegetables, and in some circumstances, there is a need to putting probably two tags and melting together as one asset. And then if one pixel tag is not energized, probably the second one will be energized, and then you have the same result that you have nearly 100% reading. So there's a little bit tricky stuff depending on the tracking of the goods. And as Klaus mentioned, metal, we have to have adding some spacers, but then it's not complicated. So, and radio waves are bouncing back in metallic environment, but this bouncing back could be helping us in the cooling truck on one hand. On the other hand, it could be also distracting and the reading performance goes low. And so that's depending on really on the consultation of, or we do a consulting test at the customer sites to find it out. So there are so many parameters that we have to take care, and feel free to send us an email and we can discuss this. And we have also technical people here at Identiv and Energous to help you in that. And that's, I think, not easy answer, and it's a long answer. We can talk about hours in that case.
Okay, great. Do the passive tags have a limitation in the number of readings or data transmissions per hour?
Yes, they transmit their data in certain intervals. The interval is the shorter, the more energy they can harvest. To my knowledge, 4 seconds is the shortest interval. So every 4 seconds, a packet is transmitted. I think it can be even a bit less, but we're not talking milliseconds or something. It's in the range of a few seconds.
Okay, great. And let's see here. Are the sample packets available from Energous or Identiv?
Yeah, yeah.
Stefan.
Go ahead, Klaus. Go ahead.
Okay, the sample packs are available from CISPA. CISPA is one of the companies in the Wiliot Partner Network, which is formed by a variety of companies like Identiv, like Energous, and a couple of others. And CISPA is a distributor for electronic devices, also providing billiard equipment. And there you can purchase the sample kits. Just reach out to me if you need any support in getting in touch with them.
Great. Do you have a solution readily available for using pixels on metal surfaces?
At the moment, there are only the workarounds that have been shown in the presentation. We can mount them perpendicularly to the metal objects or with a spacer. This works, but in order to get the full range, the full reading range that the regular pixels offer on regular surfaces, there will be a dedicated version required that we are currently, this is currently in the making, and it will be ready for mass production probably at the beginning of next year within Q1 or latest Q2.
Great. Okay, we're going to do one last question. Are you both based in Europe?
Yeah,
Yes,
in the same city. We are based in Munich, so yeah,
Awesome. Okay, we'll end with the easy one.
yeah, right. The easiest question. Thank you.
Okay, well, thank you everybody so much for tuning in and for all your great questions. Hope you have a great rest of your day and a great rest of the year. Bye, everyone.
Thank
thank
you.
you. Bye. Ciao.
Bye.